Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of ADHD and Crochet. Today I have a few items I want to get through, starting with this little manta ray here. Manta rays are probably one of my favorite sea creatures, migrating sea creatures. They do migrate, and they are very intelligent while remaining not evil. They are not really predators. They are filter feeders of things like krill. Filter feeder is probably not the correct term, but they pretty much just open their mouths and vacuum all the krill in. They are very large. If I ever get the chance to see one in person, I might die on the spot. Because I love them that much. Same with whale sharks. They are also really cool, really big creatures that feed on very small things. Manta rays are some of the few creatures that can recognize themselves in a mirror, and they also will play with bubbles. I say few, but there's a good handful of creatures that can recognize themselves in a mirror that aren't humans. That is one of the tests of intelligence. And overall, they're just funny looking and cute. Now, because this part needs to lay flat on the critter, I am sewing along this inner seam here. You see it, but this little bit right here, just to make sure that it's not going anywhere. So I kind of have to bend this in a weird position, but we should be used to that by now. This pattern was fun to use, although it just ended up being a lot larger than I thought it was going to be, so I'm kind of glad I used really small yarn. I used the 1.5 millimeter yarn on this one, and he still ended up being almost 10 inches across. If I had used any larger of yarn, I probably would have had another whale situation where this thing was enormous. Pattern also had you do some wire in the tail so that it's a little bit posable. I used pipe cleaner because that's what I had. Alright, so that's one side. So we're going to go ahead and do our little knot. And I forgot to grab my scissors, so I will have to remove all the strings at a later time. But we are going to at least hide them for the most part. Now there is ways of hiding the string without cutting it, so we're going to just kind of do that, a few passes of that. Kind of put your needle back through the hole that you used to pull through the first time. Keep doing that until you have no more yarn. Works better when you have a longer needle to do this with. You can go a little further. Doesn't take as much time and effort. That's okay. Gotta find my end here. Make it a little shorter. And we're almost there. And I just pinched it there on the inside so that it would release from the needle. And now I don't have to worry about cutting that string. It's a little more effort than just cutting the string, but I don't want to have to edit the video more than I have to, because it's also a lot of work. This past week, I actually got back from a week-long vacation to Missouri, Springfield, Missouri, and I thoroughly enjoyed myself. I got reminded of what it's like to be in a place that is not a million degrees outside for most of the year. The highest it got there was 95 degrees, which is a spring day in comparison to the 115 I'm facing this weekend. I am obviously not thrilled to be back in this state that is akin to the 9 circles. I also got to find out what it's like to be in a place where you're not allergic to everything that blooms. That was lovely. I will say Missouri is more humid than Arizona. It had like 80% humidity in the morning, but there was a breeze for most of the time. And that humidity was gone by the afternoon, pretty much. So it really wasn't that bad. It was quite bearable. I did not feel sick from heat stroke at all. And I was outside doing things, which is more than I can say about this state. I stay in this room for 2 hours and the air conditioning's kind of poor, so I might as well be outside by the end of it. I feel really sick. So we plan to move that way, and I'm really excited for it. So my setup here will probably change in the next few months. I'll probably still have videos that are coming out before I get set up there. I plan to have a few things ready ahead of time, recorded ahead of time, because I probably will be too busy to record during the move. So, but I have things to look forward to, and I'm very excited about it. We've finished this side, and voila. We're gonna just hide that string again. Now you might be wondering, how come I'm only sewing these little face pieces on and not doing the entire thing? Well, outside, these other two pieces were actually crocheted together as part of the pattern, so there was no sewing involved on those parts. Just these ones. My life a little difficult by not paying attention to how long this string was. We are having to fight it a little bit, but we're just gonna tug, and it's gone now. No longer a problem. Now we have the eyes, and the eyes are kind of interesting. These are going to be an interesting attachment because we have this long little prong here from the safety eye. We're going to do our best. Plop it right here and take our little pin, just kind of work with the bend in the pin. We're going to try to get this to be a circle. It's probably going to be pretty difficult because of the way this stabs into things. That's okay. Now I did not stuff the eyes at all. The safety eye kind of does that. It holds its shape for me. So I don't have to worry about it too much. Almost there. This one wants to be a little more difficult. There we go. We will probably need to adjust this one as we go along, but that's okay. We're going to start on this side. Helps if you don't drop your string. Gotta thread that needle. While on vacation, I had a bit of a revelation that I don't know why I didn't think of it before. But I found out that you don't really need to use water to make instant coffee. You can just use hot milk, and it tastes better if you do. It's creamier, it's like a latte. And I don't know why I didn't think of that before. I don't know why sleep deprived me. Just trying to use the milk up before we left. Thought of that, and normal me didn't. But yeah, I found out that my new way to drink coffee is just hot milk and honey. And no, I don't have a Keurig or anything fancy like that. I have a electric kettle, which no, I did not put the milk in the electric kettle. I put the milk in the microwave. But normally when I make coffee, I make it with the electric kettle, boiling the water and then pouring it on top of the instant coffee. Some of you are probably cringing, but I don't really care. My life, I'll live it how I want to. I don't drink coffee very often. In fact, today I'm actually drinking decaf because I don't want to be given anxiety from drinking coffee. And decaf still has a little bit of caffeine in it, anyways, so it's fine. Coffee flavored milk is the best, and I will fight anyone who says otherwise. Not really, I don't care. Enjoy your life. Hi, Bean. Are you gonna be involved now? Now, the safety eye is being a little bit of a pain here. So what I may need to do is glue it down a little bit and cut this extra bit that's coming through here. But we'll worry about that later. Right now, he's got a tooth on the side, I guess. But we're gonna go ahead and make our knot and just kind of hide our strings like we normally do. No scissors needed for this one. Make your string on the end there a little shorter. Keep working at it until there's nothing left to hide. Remember, kids, secrets don't make friends. But you know what does make friends? Bean. Bean makes friends. And that one is done. On to the next. As you can see, he's looking more like a real creature who definitely looks goofy, as that is the natural state of that being. So that's part of their charm. They're really big sea pancakes with little goofy faces. Now these guys don't really hang out on the bottom of the ocean all that much, on that seabed very much. They are migratory, so they do kind of roam around as they please. This one's not being as much of a problem as the other one, but who knows? I may still decide to get my hot glue gun involved on this one, just to secure it, make sure it's not going anywhere. Now, obviously, when I get my hot glue gun involved, I'd only be gluing the underside of the plastic. This one doesn't seem to be having any issues staying in place, so it's probably just going to be the other one. And also not trying to stab its way through the other side. Projects are so weird in that way. As always, I will include the person who made the pattern in the description of the video. I am just using the patterns. Did not make any of these. But this pattern was fun to follow, pretty easy as well. It just took longer than expected because it was larger than expected, but it was worth it, I think. And makes a great cat toy, as Bean approves that. I personally don't recommend letting your cats play with your projects. They will destroy them. They have little claws and things like that. But it's kind of hard to stop Bean from doing that when the tail is moving around like so. She is but a cat. She cannot help it. There we go. And our manta ray is done as far as this video is concerned. Things I would probably change about this pattern is adding some white swirls to the wings here on this dark blue part. I also probably would have used either black or a darker blue if I had it, but I actually ran out of black yarn, and because I'm moving, I'm not going to buy anymore. I'm going to use what I have. And I just didn't have navy available in this size. This pattern actually used up quite a bit of my white yarn as well of this size, so I'm going to not have enough of that for a lot of things either. I still have a little bit so I can use it for some projects, but not many. This was one of those projects that was able to use a little bit of that white yarn. Obviously, this did not take very much of it. And this fancy little guy is actually a sea slug. Now, one of these, there we are. So this one can remain pinned to the bottom of the body, so it stays out of the way. This will be used to attach him to a different project later on, but for now it's just going to stay down there. But we are going to sew the little antennas on first. I've got two strings to use here, a white one and this longer gray one. This fancy little guy may take the rest of the video, I don't know. If it does not take the rest of the video, I do have another project sitting here that I can work on as well. But we are almost halfway through. after just the manta ray. So we'll find out. We shall see. I'm going to actually start with this gray here. It's the one that's going to be used the most on this for tightening things down. The white is really only going to be used to stitch down those outer parts. Make sure everything is nice and flush without doing weird colored stitches. Now I have my little box here that I keep forgetting that I have. And so I've got all these sharp objects just laying around with the cat around, and that's just waiting to spell disaster. It's also waiting to spell disaster is the fact that she's laying next to my coffee cup. But it's fine, because she's being good right now. Because she is a good girl. At least for now. Give it 5 minutes and we'll find out. Alright, this little pin is in my way, so it's going to go away. I think I can keep everything in place from here. White string wants to be a problem. Now this was relatively simple pattern to follow, just like the last sea slug. It is actually done by the same person who did make the last sea slug pattern. That's cool. The pattern was a set of 4. So there are 2 other sea slugs that I want to make. One is in progress, and that one specifically is one of my favorite sea slugs, but this little guy is cool too. For being gray and white naturally, he is quite beautiful. All these little bits behind the antenna here are called petals. Rightfully so, they look like little flower petals. Quite cute. Alright, so we've got the main part on there. And now we can work on the white parts and also hiding the strings. Now these strings are quite long, so I'm probably just going to pull them to the bottom here like that and just kind of let them dangle and be in my way until I can go get my scissors. I don't feel like pausing video and editing things. Work smarter, not harder. And if that means just not doing something on camera, so be it. We're gonna move this all the way through here. Luckily, this is a small thing, so moving a small needle through the entire width of it is not a problem. What is a problem is my patience with these pins stabbing me slightly. There are quite a few pins, but all these petals are in fact one part. It is just a long string of them that want to be a problem. Alright, so now we can make a little knot, maybe. Have to be 2% smarter than the thing you're working on. Some days that is more difficult than others, and that's okay. Just be warned. We're gonna pull that one through. And then we're going to pull these short ones through as well. We're going to pull them through a little bit. We're going to pull them through at the same time. Like so. We're going to pull them through at an angle. Go as far down this body cavity here as we can. That they just go away. So now we've got the little antennas on the head part on. Now we've got all of these to work with. Now I will be working from the back to the front. I'm going to attempt to push all these petals upwards. The stitch markers are actually just where the folding happens, so I will be removing those as I go as well. We've got to pet this cat the wrong way, get everything out of the way, and now we can begin here with this end part here. Once again, I will probably just hide the white string. I don't know that I'm actually going to use that, but it's there as it is anyways. So it is just going to kind of dangle off to the side there. But this gray string is hopefully long enough. If not, I do still have quite a bit of that gray string from the top part as well, so I could just squeeze that on through. Otherwise, I do have a wall of just sewing thread that I can attempt to use, but I would need scissors. I don't want to use the entire spool on this little guy. That is not very cost effective. But let's go ahead and get started. Oh no. Oh no. We've got a knot. That is not okay. I'm sorry, guys. Couldn't help myself. The string doesn't want to behave, and apparently neither do I. Everything is getting stuck to me. Alright, now we should be good. I say that and it immediately tries to tangle on me. Just goes to show you shouldn't open your mouth sometimes. You will accidentally lie to yourself. Alright, we should be fine now. Now the cool part about this is the actual placement of your stitches doesn't matter too much because the whole thing is going to be covered by the petals in the next row. You don't have to worry about things being placed in funky ways. What you do have to worry about is your yarn, your strings, not cooperating with you and trying to tie themselves in knots as you do this. Which is why you see me putting my finger in between the yarn there, in between the strings. So I will get it through both parts. Then I'll stick my finger in there. That way, when it bunches up like this, it's getting filtered through the space between my fingers. It's less likely to tie itself in a knot. My hair likes to get involved in some of these projects as well. Having long hair that likes to shed has its downfalls. So a little part of me gets put into all of my projects, whether I want to or not, and a little part of the cat also gets put into it. So if anyone's allergic to cats and you buy my products, I'm sorry. I do my best, but cat hair is like a parasite; it goes everywhere. It's hard to get rid of, hard to see. Pretty sure even if I stopped having cats, I'd still find cat hair everywhere for a few years. And almost done with this first row. This video may end up being a two-part, being a part one. I'm not sure. You guys will know by the title of the video if it does. I don't know. I seem to like doing multiple part videos lately. That one's attached. We can remove that. So now what I'm doing is I'm just working up this little chain area, little tiny row here, part of a row where it connects the first row to the second row here. And I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this little pin here, this stitch marker. I don't need it. There we go. Now I'm just kind of putting my yarn on the side that I want it to be. This front row, I'm just going to position so it actually goes backwards where I want it to be, but it's not in the way of this second row here. Now I'm kind of doing a dangerous thing by grabbing the entire thing in my hand, but it does kind of help keep things where I want it to be. It's just a danger because there's a lot of pins in this. As shown by this pin here, it's now in my way. Now I do feel them poking through my glove a little bit, not enough to actually hurt, but enough for me to know that they're there and to not squeeze it any harder. Am I smart for grabbing it like this? I don't know, probably not. Do I particularly care? No. I never claimed to be smart. Anyone who does probably isn't anyways. So it's fine. We can all be not very smart together. Now this white string wants to be a problem again as we get closer to it. As we get up in the rows, it probably won't be too much of a problem anymore. But until that point, it's going to remain existing. Probably remain existing in my commentary as well. All right. All right. We are getting through this second row here. I don't think we'll be able to finish all the rows in this one video, which is totally fine. And pick it up in the next one. Looking like it's a part one for sure. If it was a two-part video, or if it was a whole all-in-one video, this probably would be like an hour and a half to do. Since we started on the manta ray, who had made an appearance in a previous video, so I felt obligated to start with him. I tend to do that. And that's okay. That's okay. My channel. I'm new at this. I'm gonna do what I want. I've changed my orientation here a little bit so that I can get at this little corner. You may have noticed that my petals are a little off-centered, but the whole thing kind of twists anyways, so I don't think it matters all that much. If it bothers you, don't make this pattern, I guess, because it's supposed to twist. And yours is gonna twist too. Oh no, I don't know where you belonged, but I guess you're not there anymore. There we go. Gotta take care of the knots. Knots, the strings, everything is happening. This row is done. On to our third row here. I think I'm going to just unpin entirely because I think that's where that other pin went. It's a little off-centered. No, it's not. I may have made a mistake here and put that pin back. Or at least on this side, we're going to put it back. Yay, doing things as you go. What we are going to do, though, is remove that stitch marker. It's just going to get in the way. All right. We've got this going like this. I don't have a lot of fun facts about these little sea creatures. I do like them. Don't know a lot about them, and finding information about them is more brain power than I currently have. I think someone else has the brain cell. I can't even say brain cell right. And if anybody would like to give me that brain cell, I would thoroughly appreciate it. Mom would like an occasional turn with the brain cell. You'd think mom has the brain cell more often than not. Not necessarily. The string decided to become one with the table for a second there, and also one with this white string that's bothering me. Okay, now that I've got this situated, we can get a better hold, a better grip on things. Ow, I stab myself. I don't really have anything planned for 4th of July, like any themed videos or anything like that. But I will be having a video out on the 6th. I post every Sunday. Um, that'll probably be the part 2 to this video, which I will probably be recording shortly after I'm done with this video today. I'll probably pick up where I left off on it and just continue after a couple of moments, which will be an entire week for you guys. Oops, my bad. Maybe for the second part of the videos, I will go actually get my scissors. I did actually break a pair of scissors this weekend, or this last week. So it won't be my normal blue ones. It'll be these weird, like, little pink snippers. But they're really good. I actually preferred them. Actually lost them for a little while. But you'll see them in the next video. I lost them to the couch. Luckily, nobody sat on them in a way that poked them. But yeah, I lost them in the couch. Don't have your tools on the couch. Pro tip. And we're almost through with this row. I think we might be able to get through one more row before it's a good stopping point on this video. You may have noticed that I color-coded each row with these pins. If you didn't, I don't blame you. It's kind of a mess to look at. But yeah, so this last row was green stitch markers. This next row is red stitch markers. I did one on either side. It just kind of helped me keep track of where I was while I was making this. Good lord, this white string is all over the place. Just like me. Just kidding. I think I have my life together a little more than the string does. Not to brag or anything. I've only got a hobby that makes me happy, and I'm sharing it with you guys. That's really all this is. I do have a 9 to 5 job, a real job. Well, it's questionable because I get to work from home, but I do have a job that I get paid to do and make real money on. I don't make any money off of these videos. I am just barely getting started, but I did not expect to anyways. This is just something fun for me to do and just kind of a new level of my hobby that I'm trying out. So, seems I have a couple people who enjoy what I do. I'm glad. I'm glad I can make your day, or at least make it go by a little easier. Because really, that's what all this is for, anyways, isn't it? Making the day go by a little easier. My ADHD might be chaotic, but I hope my videos are relaxing or enjoyable. Alright, we have a tiny knot. Let's see if I can just, there we go. Sometimes some knots can be solved by just straightening the yarn out enough that it just kind of pops apart. Not all of them. In fact, not most of them. But sometimes you get lucky. Let's not have my wrist in the yarn. It is getting a little messier in here. That is okay. I'm gonna take our time, make sure we've got the placement where we want it, make sure everything's out of the way. Some people prefer the no-sew projects. I'm not really one of those. I kind of like being able to place things where I want them and sew them together. I think it's nice to be able to do needle shaping while you make your project. It gives it a little more character, gives you a little more control over what you're doing. And I quite like it. Oh no, I don't know where you went. Where do you belong? Don't get too philosophical with that. It's just a sewing video, labeled under a crochet video. Alright, well, we are going to pause this there. Yeah, so we'll just stop here, stop getting on to the next row. And I will see you guys in the next one. As always, I will put the people who made these patterns, credit to the artists, in the description of the video. If you like the video, like the video. If you want to see more and be around for more, go ahead and subscribe. Again, I post every Sunday, or try to. So far, I haven't missed one. And I will see you guys in the next one where we will finish this guy up. Bye.